Hi, Paul. I had this call for next week too, if it makes you feel any better.
I can't hear you that well.
Oh, hold on. How about now?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm starting to get flexibility and mobility back in my thumb.
Good.
About 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's good
And
news.
I went to the doctor this morning and said, you know what? You told me what I have. I thought you were crazy. She looked at me like, I'm like, you telling me it'll take like 18 months for this thing to come back if it comes back at all? I said, about 2 weeks ago, it started coming back. I'm like, hey, good morning. I was just telling Jonathan, in December I got a cold. And from that cold was a virus that attacked the nerve in my hand, and I couldn't bend my thumb. And the doctor said it was a very rare condition that they only read about in textbooks. It's that rare. And then it would be, and when I met with her last time in March, she was talking about, if it doesn't come back, then there's a tendon transplant and all this other stuff. About 2 weeks ago, all of a sudden my thumb started moving. I could move my thumb again.
Wow, that's wild.
And then she said that she had another patient. She said, odd that I have now 2 patients. And she said her other patient got it because she got a vaccine.
Really?
Wow. So did they say what vaccine or just?
No, she didn't tell me what vaccine.
Wow. Man, that's brutal. I don't know. And the problem too these days is they've got so many vaccines all packaged into one shot. I mean, I'm not even sure how they would figure out which one it was if they thought it was one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she just
it's like the omnibus bills, They just shove it all through at once.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Jonathan's doing more work, but we put a summary slide together to show you what at least my concerns were. And I was speaking from the gut the other day, and this evidence shows that there could be a problem brewing.
Okay.
Now, these are May year-to-date actuals versus budget.
Okay.
So you have, as of the end of May, 275 people. The budget was 281 this is average. 281, right? So you're like, okay, I'm doing okay on headcount. I'm like 5 people below where I'm supposed to be. However, the payroll dollars are coming in a little bit more, $321,000 more than what the budget is. And then when you break that down to an annualized cost per head, you can see that, hey, in casino systems admin, you're worse by 9,000. You're worse in America Services. You're worse in EMEA. You're worse in APAC. You're worse in LATAM. And operations. So overall, the annualized cost per head is coming out at $110,000, and the budget was $105,000.
So let's look at that Latin American one real quick. So what does that mean? Cost per head were 11,000 USD over.
Right here, the actuals for Latin America coming in at 62,000, and the budget was 51.
How can that be? I mean, that's a huge delta for a low-cost region.
Well, we'll figure it out. Jonathan started an exercise now to look by a legal entity.
Okay.
So then we can drill down on that to find out exactly where the issue is. Now, these are not in constant dollars, so currency could have an impact on that. And we'll try to figure out what's the currency currency impact versus the constant dollar impact.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so that organization.
You only get 20 people, right? And you're like,
Yeah,
hey,
something's not right there for sure. Like, there's just no way that given.
Yeah. Argentina?
Yes, I do have some people in Argentina.
That could be the issue because they're on hyperinflation.
Right. That's
Yeah, maybe, but all right. But I mean, we got to dig into it, obviously. But that organization, I'm trying to reconcile this with
on a call.
PT report that Jen gave me, because this is the best view I have of compensation right now. And what would be the equivalent to organization that you have in column A? Is that one of the financial hierarchies?
That's a financial hierarchy, yes.
Which level?
That is the level right below casino systems delivery.
Let me see if I can. These are less.
The level 4, maybe?
I mean, I'm pulling in level 4. Okay, so I have. Wait, this has got. So let me just share. Can I share with you what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, on the PT side, I'm showing I have 310 people.
Yeah, but remember, we don't have Kim Cole's group in here. So anything sitting over in North America Gaming, that we did not move into your organization because from a financial standpoint, that team said, wait a minute, I'm going to move this to you and then just get the cost right back. So why bother moving it? So that's why there's a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've cleaned up most of that by creating new cost centers and moving over non-payroll budgets and all kinds of stuff.
You would have created a new cost center, and it would have been in North America Gaming. And Mike, I don't have access to as part of this migration. I don't have access to BPC anymore, and so Jonathan's off writing some reports, and we'll try to pull that group in.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Better view, but I just ran the quick hierarchy instead of.
Got it. Okay, so here's my 310, and we can maybe try to figure out how we filter people out. I mean, I can do it by supervisor here. You said Kim Cole.
No, hang on. Well, hang on, stop. So your North America Gaming, you get 3. System sales, you get 2. I don't know what this technology and infrastructure. So anything you have people in CTO Gaming, that doesn't make sense.
Here, let's see who it is. So, yeah, these people.
Can you go one level higher on your hierarchy and also include this?
I only have to level 4 for whatever.
No.
I have level 4 is below. I have level 5. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, see, all people like in CTO Gaming, CTO Italy, North America Gaming, system sales, technology and infrastructure.
Let me see who their supervisor is. Hold on.
So you say 254 plus the 38. 38 is R&D.
Right on. Yeah, right on top.
So this CTO Gaming, these I believe are the Advantage Club people.
Okay. Whoops.
No, but those Advantage Club people, they shouldn't be in CTO Gaming. That's not right. So take 254 plus the 5, that's 259. Plus the CTO, is the CTO Italy, that's Davide? No.
No, those people are not pulled over into my group.
Okay.
Not at this point. Yeah, see, these are people under Colin in
Yeah.
CTO Gaming. These people here got pulled over as part of the IGT pay support.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see. Then you've got Kim's team.
We can reconcile who's in our number. Now remember, my number is also an average. So as of the end of May, at the end of May, I'm showing 279. 279 minus 310. It's going to be, we're 21 head count off, and the 21 head count are going to be system sales, definitely. North America gaming, definitely. So that's 5. Maybe the Italy people, another 5. I don't know. I can reconcile. Yeah. We'll get with Jen. So, Jonathan, can you take a note
You bet.
and get with Jen and say, wait a minute, where's the difference between head count?
We actually have a call with her later today. We can,
Is that oh yeah, okay.
yeah.
So
And
we'll
I can reach out. But yeah, I'll take a hit list.
We'll bring that up with Jen. Mike?
Okay, that's cool. I'm just trying to see if there's a there. So. Why would there be 2 separate casino systems?
One might be R&D. That's my guess.
Okay.
I'd have to talk to her about what that is. We'll go down the bottom, please. So 254 and 38, that's not making sense to me either.
I would guess that the delta is probably part of Danya's team, maybe.
Could be that they're sitting up in SG&A. They just moved those people, right, Jonathan?
Like,
Danya just got moved.
just moved.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, actually, let me look at this. So you can see here's Jen, and then there's still people under Melinda. So these 10 probably are somewhere in a different part of the org that maybe isn't rolling up under what.
yeah, under the financial hierarchy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 300. Still gotta find like another 21 people. So anyway, we'll meet with her, Mike. But I just wanted to share with you, when we were on that call the other day, that even as you're moving people to a lower cost location, your cost per head is still greater than what the budget was or is. And
Yeah.
maybe that'll.
What's the total number that you? Well, and like you said, though, this is an annualized number because it's just summing up all of the current salaries.
Right, and as you move forward and as you start switching that, maybe, over time it'll start to come down. I mean, this is just through the end of May, so if you haven't taken a lot of actions yet, you won't really see some movement, but on that first tab that I had, you saw that like is APAC considered, or were you're moving folks to EMEA, right? And
Well, it depends. So if in APAC, we're wherever possible trying to backfill in the Philippines.
yeah,
In the U.S., we're trying to backfill in Mexico, and in Europe, we're trying to backfill in Warsaw.
yeah, okay.
It's just strange though, because would you mind sharing what you were showing me to start the call? Because what's really wild about this is how in every organization, regardless of where it is geographically, it's over, right? Like every single one of these is over, and it's and the thing is, I just can't think of anything that's changed. Like take EMEA for example. What could have changed in EMEA that would cause the budget to be so much lower than where the actuals are coming in? Because I haven't had a lot of change there. And
Did you do any rec flipping?
what do you mean by that?
In other words, someone leaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you might have a rec that is let's say a level 3 position.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, listen, I'm going to make that a level 1 position, but I'm going to use that money to give extra dollars to other people.
Yeah, yeah, like a cascading kind of thing.
Right. And so that could have some impact based on the fact that you haven't hired that level 1 yet or something. I don't know. But I mean the math is this, that we take your total year-to-date payroll,
Mm-hmm.
I average the headcount, and then I divide the payroll dollars by the average headcount, and then divide that by 5 and multiply it by 12.
Do you have the monthly view of the payroll
Right here.
actuals? Okay.
This is the monthly.
But what was this against forecast?
And then here's the budget.
Got it. Okay. So looking at May, for example, forecast was 2.466.
And the actuals came in at 2.625.
How is that possible?
Well, it could be that there's people who transferred in that were not part of the budget, right?
Yeah.
Like, say, Danya and,
Right.
and yourself, right? So you guys came
So
in.
the actuals are hitting me, but the plan wasn't brought over yet.
Right.
The forecast wasn't brought over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's probably what's happening.
the other thing we could do is, the other thing we could do is say, okay, what's the forecast look like going forward versus, where's it at today? So, but anyway, I wanted it, I threw that comment out to you the other day.
Yeah.
You were like, what the hell are you talking about? Are you crazy? And so we did some high level estimates. This is what it's showing. Jonathan's off trying to create some reporting for you to show you, like, okay, here's where we think the problem might be, by legal entity or by department. And then we can get back together once we have that more detailed view.
Okay, can we look at the budget and actual tabs just one more time to see?
Here's budget.
Right, so budget
So
rate was 282.
yeah, and that also includes an attrition target of,
Right.
so in your actuals, you're coming in at 279 people, but your dollars are a lot higher.
Is it possible that and maybe this is what you just said, but just to be confirmed, that the dollars have more than the 279 in them?
The dollars don't, well, if this is the actuals, the dollars have that payroll and benefits related to the 279.
So we know for sure that is only the payroll dollars.
Or it's only payroll and benefits, right? So let me show you what the difference between, hang on, what's this? Budget minus the actual. So you're over in January, you're better in May, you're worse in March, you were worse in April, you're worse here. And this big number is because I think we transferred you in and Dunya in and some other people. Because see how this went from 274 to 279, right? So,
But then maybe the dollars weren't brought over in the budget.
well, and then the budget never changes. So,
But your forecast could, right?
the forecast will.
Right.
So what will happen is that in Ryan's group in product management, VLT, or wherever Danya was, it'll go down, and then this goes, so it offsets each other.
How long does that usually take to catch up?
We only set the budget once a year.
But I mean the forecast. When
Oh,
the forecast?
We'll do it. We just finished Rev 6, and then we'll do another forecast in this month in July. So we do quite a couple of forecasts. So it'll catch up then. So it'll be all the actual. So if we ran this versus like Rev 6, Mike, you would be spot on, right? Because it includes the actuals. The issue is the look forward. How do you stand for the rest of the year? So.
Right, but if you're comparing the look forward to a forecast that hasn't been updated.
No, but yeah, we will compare the look forward. What we could do is take a look at the look forward versus where we are in the actuals. Right. Do a sanity check there.
Okay.
They should be okay because they roll the head count forward. So if you're in the forecast, your look forward should be fine. And the issue is, what are you doing on the personnel side with HR? I mean, are you giving out of cycle adjustments and so forth? Are you doing cascading? Are you hiring people in at a greater value than what we have in the forecast? So, that's where it could go off the tracks going forward.
Well, yeah, I mean, let me just show you an example of some of the, because I am definitely doing that, but always with an eye toward net savings.
Yeah.
So to give you an example, what the hell is this? Hold on. Second here, I gotta. see the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
All right. So just to give you an example, I mean, I'm tracking this stuff very closely. These are all of the backfills that I've done to low cost regions, with a net savings of 253,000. And then, here's a more complex scenario that I'm working on with Jen right now, where, we're trying to, with a bunch of backfills in North America, trying to fix a bunch of other issues that we have. But when all of these backfills, as well as there's some inline promotions, there are some of them moving to Mexico for savings. We've got some out of cycle stuff here, but the net is a $60,000 savings. So I don't know how, with this level of attention being given to driving savings as there's changes in the organization, how I could be ending up with actuals that are so much higher than plan or forecast.
Remember that Jen's given you a annual view.
And don't call it.
Yeah. And I've got a mathematical annualization. So some things could be off in the math. Some things could be off in the timing of when these actions take place, when people are onboarded or off-boarded. So let me and Jonathan get together and see where we're at, and then come back to you.
Okay, yep, that's great, guys. I appreciate it. We'll figure it out.
Okay, and for some of the places offshore, some of the variance could be currency also.
Yeah, currency is my nemesis right now because I've got so many different countries that I've got people in.
Yeah, but we can run our reports in constant dollars, and then that way
that's helpful. Yeah, the one Jen gave me was not converted to USD, so I was having to build that kind of conversion myself. And then I know there's
really, because she can run her US dollar stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she said that she had to put it together manually. So what I wanted from her is I needed to know, what is the current salary, and then, what's all of the ratings of the last reviews that I had. But when she gave me the salary column, you can see there's some big numbers in here because it's not in USD. So I built a pivot and then converted it myself, but I'm using current rates, not, I know you guys have standard rates that you've used. It should be pretty similar, but in places like Argentina, for example, that changed and have wild swings, it could be a fair amount different. But,
yeah.
The annualized number that I was coming up with for 310 people was just over 26 million. That's for salary only.
Yeah, ours
That
includes
seems low.
ours includes benefits too.
What would you, just as a swag, would you add 20% or higher?
In the US, the benefit rate is 25%, but we can give you the benefit rate by each country if you need it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, if I just did this times 1.25 to get a swag, you're looking at 32.6. Is that?
It feels like you're in the range.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So that's the number. Yeah. And ultimately, if we can agree on what this number is too, that would be helpful for me, just as I'm working through my planning with EY.
Please. Okay.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you, Jonathan.
Bye, guys.
I'll catch up with you later today.
Sounds good. All right. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.